the Ministry of Human Development, Social Transformation and Poverty Alleviation in Belize has had several participants in the Caribbean Leadership Project's Leadership Development Program. And so we're here on location in Belize City for this episode of Leadership Impact to find out how the project has influenced this ministry and the wider country.
One of the first stages in terms of the Caribbean Leadership Program was leading yourself. And one of the first lessons learned for me is that before I can lead others, I have to be able to lead myself.
Being a part of the middle managers program that we had with the CLP made me able to realize that certain things that are going on with work, with my supervisees, are things that I should not be taking personally, but I should be helping them to grow and to look at what are their positive points and to see how I can guide them.
I do think the CLP has impacted from all levels. I think it has trickled down where the directors across the ministry are now not that they weren't on the same page, but they're in a page that, again, we work as a team. And so that is trickled down to their junior management team and also to other frontline staff. So what they see is what we expect from them.
CLP has had a wonderful impact, has impacted me in so many ways. I now understand the importance of emotional intelligence.
I think when I came back from each workshop and I would share with an excitement, there was a little disconnect for them because they're like, okay, I see my boss very excited, but I don't fully understand. But I think when I was able to actually apply it and model some of the tools that I learned, I then saw that it began to get them excited. One of the areas that I kept harping because it was such a revolutionary concept for me based on where I was at that point in my journey was the whole concept of having crucial or difficult conversations. And I think going through that process built a confidence with me because it caused a lot of self-reflection in terms of where I am, what I wanted, who am I. And by doing that, I realized that a part of my calling is in where exactly I am in terms of serving this ministry. My passion is to serve people. My passion is to make a difference in the lives of children, to see them protected, to equip families in terms of understanding their role in terms of enabling and creating an enabling environment for their children.
It was quite an experience, and I think an experience that I value very much because it came at a very pivotal time in my career. I valued the first sessions where we looked at just general self-awareness and knowing who we were, what we were and how we reacted as a leader. And getting to understand that sort of put me in the position to see what effect I would have had on this change. And so looking back, it gave me some insight as to understanding structural changes and how incremental changes made a difference. It gave me insight to see how me as a person that I was at that time, how that reflected on the new environment and how staff reacted to the whole change.
The EQI that we did, the first EQI, it hit the nail on the head in terms of the areas that I needed to work on. And you know, usually in the back of your mind, you know what some of your weaknesses are, but you're never asked to look at them straight in the face. And that EQI and working with my coach really pulled those to the forefront. CLP has helped me to really be more confident in who I am and has prompted me to really step back a bit and to really try to be to coach more, to listen more. I'm a social worker. I thought my listening skills were awesome, but learning to actually do the 110% listening has really made a difference in terms of the relationships that I'm having with my direct reports.
And going into the Caribbean Leadership Program, the first thing that they taught us was about to be a leader and to lead others, you have to be able to lead yourself. And I think going through that process of developing and identifying my passions, looking at where I am in terms of my relationships with others, created a confidence in terms of my understanding what exactly is my purpose and how do I formulate and walking within that purpose, within the calling to serve in this area at the ministry. And I think one of the significant changes by going through the CLP was that I no longer approach problems as stumbling blocks, as failures, as the end, but my whole approach to problem solving now became, okay, so we have a problem, how do we navigate around that problem? How do we view this problem as a need for change, as a need to readjust, to realign in terms of the forward movement that we need to do as an organization.
Being a participant in the leadership program, Leading from the Middle, was an excellent experience for me. I think, for one, after looking at the director's change, I realized some issues that I had, and I myself was managing crisis management all the time, every day, as opposed to leading, as opposed to coaching and teaching. So that definitely helped me in growing to know where I am and the potential of my staff, my supervisees, and to have them grow as well.
The Middle Managers program, that has impacted me in just making my life at work more pleasant. I no longer feel stressed. I no longer feel like I don't know what to do. I now know what to do in working with other human beings. In the past, it was this idea that it's just about management, but bringing in the whole idea of leadership and what does that mean and how does that look and how do you execute it, it has helped to make my life very relaxed.
Leading from the Middle has also allowed not only my department but my unit primarily to do things more thinking outside of the box, not being very rigid, not being very yes, structure, but structure with some flexibility. So it has allowed things to run smoothly. It has allowed persons to show their creative side in getting the work done. Primarily in child protection becomes very overwhelming. And so it is opening that space where officers can come in, become very comfortable to tell you if they're struggling, what their issues are, and then you try to find solutions that best work for them.
Since her completion of the CLP, I have seen Ms. Bradley use quite a bit of the language. She oftentimes talks about staying above the line. And I know that she has been imparting this to her staff because I hear them speak about it also. And similarly, I hear Mrs. Arthurs saying quite a bit, I need to have a crucial conversation with X, Y, and Z. So when they call me for advice regarding HR and so on, oftentimes they would have already have a plan in place. However, they just need to bounce it off somebody before they actually implement what it is they think is the right thing to do.
Well, Ms. Starla has always been the type of person, type of director that has a lot of energy, a lot of motivation. Every time she comes, she, asks a lot of questions. She includes you in decisions, and so that was there before. After the LDP, oh my gosh, she came back. Every time she came back from studying a particular model, she came back and she was like, okay, we need to do this. You guys need to know about appreciative inquiry. You guys need to know about 100% listening. So when she came back, she was directly into it. We had management meetings, and she started to share some of the information with us. And so it was very useful. It was a breath of fresh air.
I think my relationship with Ms. Starla has changed a little. And maybe it's not just my relationship. I think the relationship in terms of a supervisor with her management team while we've always been able to talk, there is more in terms of continuous learning and creating that atmosphere of learning. So since Ms. Starla has taken the CLP course, whenever we have management team meetings, for instance, she would always put in an element of something that she learned to teach us.
I find LDP a very useful tool, I think, for the public service, for ministry, and I do believe that as a ministry we need to, take it on a bit more and implement it. Our staff are the backbone of our ministry, and they need the support, they need guidance, and so now that we have the knowledge, it's important that we actually put those things into practice.
My biggest change is being able to handle conflicts much better than before, being able to actually sit down with my supervisees and talk it through and having them understand that it's not me against you, but we're working together to ensure that you do what you need to do to be as effective as possible in the position that you have.
One day I want to be able to retire, and I want to be able to retire empty, and I want that they are fully equipped to take my position or even to go beyond me to the CEO level. And so we have to talk about how do we own what is gifted to us for that moment in terms of the responsibilities placed on us. And so how do you take that, harness it, and then how do you then, after you've owned it, take that to the social workers?
Supervisors now are on the same page where we know what the expectations are, and they're not so much territorial, but one that wants to work in the best interest. So everything ties together and it flows much easier as opposed to maybe how it was before, where everybody somewhat knew what they were supposed to do and kind of did that to some extent in isolation. I need to get this done, so I will do this. It's more now a collaborative effort that we work together to get it done faster, it works smoother, and it's done in a shorter time. So it works.
CLP has certainly had a national impact. Just the work of the Ministry of Human Development, the changes that we're seeing with the way the middle managers are interfacing now with social workers, and the way the senior managers are trying to improve our coaching and our mentoring of our direct reports. It has a trickle effect. The ultimate goal is to improve the quality of service. Yes, we have high caseloads. Yes, the issues are there and challenging, but if we're able to build better relationships with our staff and help them to grow and develop as professionals as well, the quality of service will be improved. And improving quality of service means we're improving lives.
I think that something like this should always be ongoing, in providing more tools, more resources, more trainings, things like that, because we want it to continue to trickle all the way down. And if we were to just do this and then that's it, over time, I think it might erode. So I think that, a program like this should be constant. It should, provide information on a regular basis, and opportunities for more people in the ministry or any organization to continue to learn.